Hooper. I'm a 5th grade teacher in Central Indiana, and welcome back to Hanging with Hooper. So obviously I'm sick and it's been a very long while. Just trying to vlog while teaching is a very difficult thing for me. It is not the first thing that pops in my mind because that's not my job. I do it only because I learn a lot from YouTube. So whenever I think about it and I have a chance, then I do it. So not my job, but I have learned so much, and so I want to continue to contribute to that when I can. So sorry it's sporadic. Sorry these are not amazing vlogs to watch because I'm not spending hours to edit and all that good stuff, but I do appreciate that you're back to see what's been happening in our classroom. So as we do that today, I am going to try and multitask. My teaching partner is out, so I'm gonna try and get some stuff ready for that classroom, and all my stuff is ready for today as far as teaching goes, but I have some grading to do and just some stuff to catch up on, and I'll show you what we're gonna be doing today. So let's get into all of that. All right, so the only thing that I have to do for myself is get my very morning slide done. And sorry about all this. I've obviously been sick and I'm on the tail end of it, but my voice is still very scratchy in the morning. So the first thing that I do, right, so this is my morning slide. I took this Hello Students from a free daily slide and then just kind of created my own because I like the font together. But the one thing I do, and I may have shown you guys before, but I get from Doug Overton, it's The First Five by Ed Tomorrow. I get this sent to my email. You can go to that website and sign up and get emails. But the first thing I'm gonna do is put my meme, and then I choose a question that we talk about. So I just click on it, I copy the image, and I insert that into my slide. I like to put a quick border around it that is matching somewhat the theme happening. So we'll go dark green, and then I need to choose a question. So I will go down here, and they give some different questions. A lot of times I will choose the ones like the Would You Rather, just because they're a little bit quicker. So depending on the day and what we have going on. So we've been doing these lately. And then, because I use these as my morning meeting questions, I'm gonna add that, change that color, and make it smaller. And there we go. Let's see. We're gonna talk about common sense today. At our school, we have, we're a class school and we focus on the lifelines. And so each month is a specific lifeline, and then we choose a student at the end of the month who demonstrated that lifeline. So we are talking about common sense and what that is. We'll go over this question. I have a couch that I choose to students to sit on during their work time, or if they finish their work, they can read over there, that kind of thing. So I need to do that. I need to check my work bins. I have a student that checks in work, so I need to see if I have any students that are missing work. I have not done that. I may or may not get to that. And now, besides the work and the couch, I am ready for my day. All right, since I have not vlogged since the beginning of the year, we are now like 12 weeks into school. So yeah, there's that. However, so let's see, in writing, I've kind of like messed up with that. So I need to fix that for next year. But we do Shirley grammar, and that is so old school. I mean, I learned this, oh gosh, 20 years ago teaching. And as I come in contact with adults that I used to teach, that is the one thing that they tell me they remember. And if we're remembering it 20 years ago, and me the same way, like I don't forget the jingles and the questions that go with it to help us find the basic parts of speech and to help us understand syntax of sentences, which is a large part of our problem with not understanding comprehension when we're reading, then why aren't we still teaching it? Why am I not still making sure I'm doing what is best for kids? And because we don't have a solid writing program, I am lucky that I can kind of do those things. And I'm also a teacher who saves everything because you never know when you're going to use it again. So because of that, I've always taught pieces of it since then, but I've never taught it from the teacher manual and doing it exactly as it says. This year we have went back to that. However, because our school doesn't do Shirley, the lessons take a lot longer. Therefore, we don't go through like one a day. And so we're not getting to the writing portion. And we're 12 weeks into school. So it's in the next 10 lessons, but that could take me 40 days to get to. So not cool. So we're going to pause with the grammar stuff and I'm going to jump to the writing stuff so we can practice some writing and then do some grammar and then some writing so we can get to essays and practice essays, because I love, love, love the way that Shirley teaches writing. It actually teaches them a process to get it on paper. Then you could teach them different ways to make it better. So many kids would struggle with just getting words on a piece of paper. And when they do, they word vomit and it makes no sense. There's no clear topics. There's no clear main ideas. There's nothing. So Shirley writing really helps with that. I don't even know that they have it around anymore. I think they have like a homeschooling portion, but as far as the actual curriculum, you might be able to find it out there. But yeah, so that's what we've been doing in writing. So we have learned, let's see, 7 parts of speech, I think is where we are. We just finished helping verbs. So that is where we are with that. As far as a reading goes, we have done, let's see, we've done some fiction stories. So we have talked about like plots and characters and setting, all your story elements. We have done summarizing stories, responding to text. We have done a major focus on vocabulary using prefixes. We are huge in our school in doing Orton Gillingham. And so this year I'm able to move through it a lot quicker because our kids know it. Therefore, we can get to doing more specific morphology and not just like right now, yes, I'm doing prefixes, but I'm using it more just as vocabulary. And yes, we talk about the prefixes, but I'll dive, I think, more in depth with morphology when we're done and not just using it as vocabulary. I don't know if that makes sense. I'm not quite sure where I'm going with this, so let's be real. So there is that. As far as math goes, so at the very beginning, I always review adding and subtracting just to get us into math. And then we did multiplication, volume, and area with a focus on volume. And then I've done division. So I am getting ready to start decimals and place value and those kinds of things. Let's see, that's math. In social studies, We have done geography and the regions of the United States. We're finishing up that. I move so slowly in social studies because social studies and science, I hate to say it because that's where they get their vocabulary and background knowledge and all that good stuff. And we need that for comprehension. But those are the things that get cut out if I have to cut something out because we have convocations or we have parties or, you know, there's a birthday and we need to celebrate that. Those are the things that get cut out. So it takes us forever to get through that. So next week we'll be moving into like the Native Americans and the beginning of our country being formed, those kinds of things. In science, we did like the human body. We talked about our skin. We talked about our respiratory system, our circulatory system, all of those good things. And now we are onto ecosystems and we are kind of focusing on like worms and the soil that they're coming from and decomposers and all of those good things. So that is what we are doing there. I have had 2 room transformations. The first one that I did was a new one this year, and it was a camping transformation. And I will insert some things here to show you what we did with that. Next room transformation I did is one that I do every year, and that was the Bat Cave. Every year I change it up a little bit. I was really sick. I can't say I was super sick. I have this horrible cough, and it's definitely in my chest, and I definitely got it from my students. I felt fine, which was crazy, but I was exhausted because I wasn't sleeping because I was coughing. Besides the cough and not sleeping, I felt completely fine. My chest didn't hurt, no fever, no sore throat, nothing. I was just tired. And by the end of the day, when it was time to decorate, I was like over the day. So my kids kind of got gypped a little bit, I think, because I usually do a lot more. But that's okay. I think they still had fun. It was still a different type of day. We were still learning. But here's some clips from that. Now, let's see what we're going to be working on today, and I'll see if I can get any clips today. Who knows? So today, I already showed you my morning slides. I just got to fix that here in a moment. So I have a lot of kids who struggle with writing their letters quickly and forming their letters. I shouldn't say a lot. There's about 4 or 5. So every day for 2 minutes, actually it's less for most, we go through and we write the alphabet and our numbers. So it just takes 2 minutes, and I can already see some of the kids writing a little bit faster. Let's see. Then we're going to go into writing, and we are working on a Veterans Day essay, which reminded me of why I needed to switch up how I teach the grammar from the Shirley lessons for next year and why I'm switching it up now. Next, we go into OG, and so we literally just go through like all the syllables, and we go through different sounds that we are working on, and all of that good stuff. I'm going through so quickly. And then when we get to the end of this lesson, we get, not the end, but of these cards, then we talk about the new things we are learning. And so today's new thing would be, we're still on vowel teams. We practice reading some words. They're easy, but they see some of the different sounds we have worked on. So a lot of reviewing. There we go. And then we get to our new skills. So talking about ah and aw, how sometimes it's at the beginning and the middle of a word, and now it's at the end of a word, the different spelling. And then we read some words that go over that sound, and they practice that. And then we do an encoding drill, so they listen for the sounds, they write the sound that they hear, and then, oh, that's not supposed to be in there. That's my answer sheet. I need to have their spelling in there. Back and put that here. Well, I'm glad we're going through these together today. That would have been embarrassing. All right, so then they go through their words, not difficult words, but using those skills we just learned, and a sentence. If we have time, we do a blending drill that is all online. Then we use Teaching with a Mountain View, their daily reading practice, so that we can go through that. And then this is from Deb Hansen, and I'm using it to help teach writing a summary using nonfiction text, and how you identify the text that is being read. You pick a verb that helps to show the text structure of what you were reading. You pick out the topic and what the main idea is, and you put that together for your beginning sentence of your summary. And then you use details to help support that choice. So that is what we are doing there. Let's see here. And then we go over what it could look like. Then we're going into our vocabulary. We are working on these 4 prefixes. We went over the words yesterday. I give them pictures with them. We talk about them, different ways they've heard the word. So it's just an introduction. Today I will give them some synonyms or examples to the words, and they will write those down if they so choose. And then we do vocabulary boxes, is what I call them. It's like the Frere model. I don't know that it's exactly like that, but that's what I took it from. So they do their own definition, a synonym, antonym, an example, and a non-example. Then we do iReady for small groups, and I will pull kids to do fluency and to practice reading words. Then we go into math small groups. We do not have an exit ticket today, but they will work on IXL math and doing flashcards for their facts. And I will pull them for small groups for math to practice that. When we come in from recess and lunch, we always do 10 minutes of math facts. So I do different activities. They were struggling yesterday, so we're gonna stay on flashcards instead of doing a fun game. And I call kids up and they have to test on their math facts with me personally. It gives them accountability. I have a lot of kids that are finishing and moving into practicing all of them where we're timing for like 100 facts at a time, and then we'll move into division. Then we do the good old math minutes. I've done these for years. It's a great review of math. It's a great when it goes over topics that we're currently learning, and it's also good about feeding them topics that they will be learning. And then, we have 2 days that we need to go over because we didn't have time yesterday. So they need to finish that, and it is due in the morning. Next, we go into social studies. We are on the Southwest, the last region that we are learning about. We'll go over their answers from yesterday for climate, and then they will look ahead and think about their questions before we read the next section, which is products and natural resources. And then they can highlight answers that they see as they are working or reading. And then if we have time, we go over the answers. If not, that's how we start the next day. And then we finish with science. And like I said, we are working on ecosystems. And so today we are focusing on like the different nutrients and stuff within the soil. And then we will do the questions together. So talking about the cycle of the ecosystem. And we go over the answers that day. They make sure they have the right answers. And then tomorrow they do the worksheet that's for the grade. I use day 5 for the grade because it's like a review. And then we are at the end of the day getting ready to go home. So I am not exactly sure everything I will catch on film today because I'm really bad at it, like really bad. I am 100% locked in. I don't spend a lot of time at my desk unless I'm doing small groups. I'm constantly up moving. And because I have everything in my slides that way, answers, everything, like I just click. We just keep going. There's not a lot of downtime or even transition time for me to even stop and think about filming. So I am going to get some things done for my teaching partner and get my morning slides done so that I am ready to go and then start grading. I hate grading. So here we go. Okay, so I said I was going to check in today, but as you can see, I did not do that. I got busy, doing what teachers do, and which is always working. And that's okay, because that's my job. So I thought as I am driving home here for just a moment, that I would just fill you in on our day and how it went. So it went really well. We're really struggling with we're struggling with writing, partly because I haven't really taught it much, which I already kind of explained, but we have a Veterans Day program, and one of the things that happen is 5th graders, the whole group of them, they write an essay, and they're given a topic to write about, and they have to write an essay. Well, we have not really done much practice of essay writing, so the kids are really struggling with that, but they take the best one, and that student gets to read theirs at our Veterans Day program. So that has been a struggle for obvious reasons. Let's see. Reading, I think we're getting the hang of summaries. I don't know that they have memorized like how to get that main idea statement down, but we're getting, like, if they have it to look at, they're good. I don't think if they were doing it on an assessment where they didn't have that to look at, I think they would struggle. So we still have some work to do with that. But the topics that Deb Hansen does, I got it from Teachers Pay Teachers. They're usually interesting topics, and the kids want to sometimes learn more about those things. So today was about Mary Ludwig, Molly Pitcher, Molly Hayes. And so they were kind of interested in that a little bit. So that's nice. The topics that she chooses are usually pretty good. So we're getting ready to branch off from doing the small passages written specifically for the purpose of practicing that into nonfiction picture books, where we're going to read about spiders, so a topic they know a little bit about, but they still need to practice the skills. So that's what we're going to move into later this week, or probably later this week. At least start that process of reading some nonfiction to be able to answer those types of questions. Math, we just finished up some review from our previous skills from 3 different skills that we have learned. So we will start with doing place value with decimals tomorrow. And that went well. I think most kids finished that. So I got to do the worst part, and that's the grading. And social studies and science, the same as always. Like I'm such a routine person.
I do change it up a little bit. Like today I added in, since we're reading about worms and how they do, like what they contribute to the ecosystem. I read Diary of a Worm, and it was fun because they did see parts that we have learned about what worms do in the book, and they were able to put those vocabulary words within, pull them from the text, or be like, oh, that's aerate, when it talked about adding oxygen or making the soil easier to breathe. I can't remember the exact wording, so that was fun. And so I just changed it up a little bit like that. We did our worksheet, and it was time to go home. It was a really good day overall. The beginning of our day, the kids had some issues in the specials area and struggled there, but they got it together and they were fine in the classroom. So that is how it went. Thank you so much for joining me on this journey whenever I have the time to post, and I will see you next time when I upload the next video.